Welcome to Music on the Underground, where I showcase the talent Ottawa has to offer with interviews and music throughout the episodes to hopefully give you some new favorite bands you might add to your Spotify playlist. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time as we're going to get this episode started right now. Hello and welcome back to Music on the Underground, and today is a good one here in CKDJ in the studio, as today I have Scarecrowz with me in the studio. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing
Very
good.
well, thank you.
Thanks.
And we've been doing some talking the last few weeks, I think, at this point, about some new stuff happening with the band, especially after you guys had a little hiatus, as last time you guys released music before this was 2021. So it's been a few years when it comes to music making, but you guys still have been involved, doing shows, and that's still very important as well. It's always good to get that music out, and now it is, as On and On is the song you guys just put out a couple days ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 days ago?
That's the first single from the new album. We just put it out this week. We also have we made a little lyric video that go along with it to help promote it. We're pretty happy with it. We've been working diligently the last 4 years, but it's been a sort of a start and stop process. We've had some hiccups, challenges along the way to make the record, but it's now finally coming to fruition, and it'll be out pretty soon. But we don't have a release date right now, but the single is out, so that's the thing that we're promoting at the moment.
Nice. And before we do get this main part of the interview started, I do like to do a bit of an icebreaker just so that the people listening get to know the people that I'm talking to. So it's just a type of thing like your name, the instrument you're playing in the band, and a quick starter question. What song would you say is like an anthem for you if you were to like go over your whole life, like an anthem for your life, like best describe you, I guess?
I'm Aansen Harrison. I'm the drums and percussions. An anthem for my life. Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know.
I'm glad I got to go second.
Honestly, I would have to say it would probably be the test that stumped them all. Dream Theater. Yeah.
I'm Trevor St Peter. I play lead guitar now for Scarecrowz. Anthem for my life is a really tough one. I would probably say I'm on a highway to hell. I don't know. I would say probably Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne would be my go-to.
Crazy Life, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm Ger Madden. I'm the lead singer, rhythm guitar player for the band. Original member, I guess. And song for life. I always imagined that if at my funeral they were going to play a rock song and it was going to be Kiss's Rock and Roll Night, Party Every Day.
Nice.
Yeah. I live a little bit like that.
Cool, man.
And who are we missing right now? Who's the member that's currently...
Mr. Zac.
You have to call us out on it, right? Okay. Yeah.
No, but I guess just to like, he should, he'll probably be here, soon. The people will get to see him.
Yeah, I
sure.
should sort of clarify this sort of section here, and this ties into the 4-year gap that we had. When we finished the last album, and we had done a few shows, Aansen had joined us just after that record was out, and I don't know, a year and a half later, something like that, after the record, we had another. Originally was a drummer and became a bass player, and he left the band, and so at that point, Aansen, myself, and Reno DeSante, who's also on the new record, the three of us then we're like, okay, well, we're going to start working on some new material. And, while we were doing that, we were looking for a bass player. And we found Trevor, who was with us the first time on bass.
An incredible actual bass player.
And it was fun too.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work.
And so we were playing like that for a little while, but Trevor was having some issue with his hand, and he had to step away. So that's when Zac came in. And, the usual thing, we did some auditions, and he seemed to be the best candidate, and he's a nice guy. So he came on in, and as I said, at that point, we were already working on some recordings. I think most of the stuff was recorded, but there was still a lot of, as I said, start-stops going along the way. So since we finished the record, and this is how life ties into everything, is Reno is taking a step away from the band, because we are a 4-piece band. He's the lead guitar player. But now that he's stepped aside, Trevor, who's also an amazing guitar player,
Thank you.
is stepping back into the band, into Reno's shoes, and we're quite happy to have him back.
Well, thank you very much. They're very big shoes to fill, by the way.
Well, you're doing a good job. So
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
So that's sort of the backstory of the members right now, and I don't know what happened with Zac, but he'll be he's here in spirit.
He's here in spirit.
I thought I just seen him in the corner, just in a little flash, but I think it was one of those.
So, first question, just keep it a bit more individual, like the first question. What would you say was the inspiring factor that made you want to get involved in making music? It's one thing to, enjoy playing songs that you like listening to, like a lot of musicians, but it's another thing to, start making it.
Actually, I can, for me, when it comes to making music, getting into music, my older brother played. My other brothers and sisters never played, but my oldest brother played, which inspired me to learn. And he did show me a few things, but he was a little bit stingy with his time. But he was a busy guy. So that got me into music. But creating music was basically, I was listening to some music that was around me at the time that I didn't really care for. And somebody had just mentioned to me in passing, well, if you don't like it, write what you like. And I went,
Genius.
it made sense, right? So I started writing at that point, and that would be, I don't want to say how many years ago. It was a while ago. And that's what got me into creating the creative side. So
I don't really recall. All that I do remember is I was basically constantly exposed to all different kinds of music as a child, and maybe around the age of 8, my father began to teach me guitar, and I kind of enjoyed that, but then I heard drums, and I got more interested in that, and I heard all these different types of drummers and all these different types of bands, and as I continued to try to practice, and I kept trying to practice, and then I was like, I can actually do a lot of this stuff. Maybe I should go hunt out a band. And then it all just kind of happened, and I was like, oh, I can be creative. Wow, who knew? That's actually kind of nifty.
Was there any like a drummer in particular that really inspired you specifically, or you enjoyed playing their music a bit more?
I would have to say, as a kid, it was the hired hands in probably Czech Korea, and then as I got a bit older, I was into like Nirvana and collective soul-ish, right?
Nice.
And and then I guess as a teenager, that's when I became interested in the drums enough that I began to take an actual active interest in who's in this band and who's in that band. So at that point, I'd have to say it was probably John Otto, Limp Bizkit, right? Right. David Silveria, Korn.
So a lot of new metal.
Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden it had been Mike Portnoy, Thomas Lang, Fuji Bell, right? And I just kept trying to achieve that and achieve that and achieve that. And then it yeah.
Awesome. Is there, did you take any of their styles in particular when it comes to when you're like drumming or when you're creating your own beats?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if it's something that I consciously do, but I'd assume that I probably try to come up with things that maybe Mike Portnoy does or Mangini. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I can say he's unique. He's got his own style for sure.
Oh, well, thank you.
But he's also very,
Very, very
versatile.
good.
No, well, wow, guys. That's actually very kind.
Well, we're
Thank
on
you.
the spot.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly. No, it's true.
Let it all hang out. Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and just for me, I had a moment when I was in primary school, and they had asked everybody in the class for the Christmas pageant. They needed somebody to be singing as the Three Wise Men, and everybody, well, the guys anyways, they got up to try and sing it, and I just went up like all the other kids, and I tried it, and I got the part. And I think that was the beginning for me about what you could do with music, not just be a listener, but to be involved with it in any capacity, like a musician or something. And I was lucky enough to see Kiss when I was a kid, and that had a big impact on me. And that made me want to go out and be a musician. And so, like my teens, I started writing. I was actually writing songs before I actually knew how to play an instrument. I got the tapes to prove it.
The tapes.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Date myself a bit here, but
The guy has
whatever.
actual tapes.
I
That's
like
how
that.
old he
I
is.
like that tapes.
He has tapes.
Recordings. Excuse me. Yeah. So it just, and then it was a slow process. Eventually, after I think learning to play guitar, and then writing more constructive songs with chords and notes and all of that business, and then joining bands, and went from there. So that was really what got me started.
Honestly, while we're on the topic, what would you say is the music making process in the band? Like, how do you guys go about it? Is there necessarily like one person that does more of the heavy lifting when it comes to the music or the lyricism? Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, well, every incarnation of the band, that's affected the dynamic of the band as it's gone along all this time that we've been together. So it's almost like, I mean, we've always played hard rock, like borderline metal or whatever, but it's always the different flavor. You know, it's a little of this, more of this time, and a little less of this or a little more of that. And so as you said, like I mentioned earlier, I'm more the constant that's been there since the beginning. So obviously my part or presence or whatever is you know, big enough, I guess. But yeah, I write a lot of lyrics. I write the bulk of the lyrics, I guess, and have. But other people in the band, they've contributed to writing. I was just going to say, well, the new record, I mean, we actually had some songs that were from previous band members, just because we were just putting songs together and they happened to be a part of that song at that time. And later it kind of developed to the point where we were actually doing something with it. I do remember that in the beginning. There was a point where like everybody was really creative, everybody was coming up with a lot of stuff. And then it was time to, you know, do a recording. But like the example was we did an EP called Release, and we were getting a recording. Guy offered to record us, and I don't know, we had like 15, 20 songs or something like that. And I know for sure we had 12 ready to go for the album, but we could only do 6. So we did our 6, and then, you know, time moved on. We wrote other songs. We had different band members and all of this stuff.
There's some left behind from other
Right.
incarnations.
Yeah, well, we've got a song on the new record.
Excuse me, sorry.
Sorry, it's 22 years old.
Really?
Yeah, and it's me and the original drummer. And it was just something when we were looking for songs, and it just pointed out to me. It was like, you know, that song was almost kind of done. Maybe just bring it back and let's see what happens with it now. And that's what happened. So it's on the new record. But every record's been different because we've literally had, certainly in the last while, you know, every record, a different lineup. So it's affected the sound, it's affected the songwriting.
With the last record, wasn't even involved in any of the writing part of it.
That's
other than,
right.
except I wrote the bass lines for some of the parts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's I'm looking forward to the next
Yes,
the
right.
next mountain to get over, so that I can
Totally.
get into some of that too, some of the creative side too.
Well, that's it.
I am
And
too, actually.
it's always a constant thing. Like while we had sort of these quiet periods,
I'm very excited with that.
you know, somebody was away, we were able to work on something, right, for example. So like me and Aansen were sitting in the room and like, what do you got? So he comes up with his beat, you know, and I play the guitar with him, and I'm like, cool. So we've already got new ideas still coming, and hopefully they'll come to fruition, and, you know, they'll be on the next recording. So it's just like this. We got to take this into context. Like, we're not doing this full time. If we did,
Oh,
you know,
man.
a lot of
It'd be so much
things
better for
would
us
be
as a
different.
band.
Like,
Kidding
you would
me?
see a hell of a lot more music coming out from us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But, you know,
Well, I think everybody in the band is creative.
Oh, oh, yeah.
Yep.
Like you, Zach, myself, and you. Like obviously.
Yeah, right, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I think if we were doing this full time, like you'd probably have more songs than Kiss.
Yeah, probably.
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 Yeah.
Probably.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing when you're an indie band, and you know, like never tell someone their age, just like mention someone's age. But you know, like when you're doing this for so many years, obviously, you know, you have to end up getting a real job and stuff like that, or real job.
That's very,
Underline quotations. Yeah.
you know,
very true, though.
I mean,
Yeah, but when we're on stage, we're 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Like I mean,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
and that's just the way it is, and it'll always be that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put my walker off to the side, throw me on, and I'm 20 again.
Rock and roll keeps you young.
Yeah, man. 100%.
yeah, I mean, I've talked to my friend about this. You know, like, I mean, we're both 18, so we're not even close to that area yet. But it's like,
Must be nice.
I mean, maybe he'd beg to differ. You know, he's in med school and all that. He's not having fun at all.
Yeesh.
He's a really big music guy like me. I mean, me personally, you know, like before this, I thought I was going to go into like history, become a history teacher. You know what I mean?
You're barking up my tree.
Same.
Honestly, though, if I was to go anywhere for history, it'd have to be Kingston. Kingston's like the perfect place to go learn history. But the second option was radio because I wanted to do something music related. I don't know if I'm ever going to make music. I mean, again, me and that said friend want to start making music because, again, we're at that point where we can kind of take that time to kind of see if there's something there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've talked with other bands about this, how, you know, Ottawa's a good scene to be a part of. A lot of musicians here. Like I have a list. It's like almost 200 current active artists. So, like, honestly, it's a very underrated scene, definitely in Ontario, that doesn't get enough attention.
Agreed.
Yeah, we're known as like a government town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Kind of
problem.
Sleepy and
That's it, right?
all of that, but yeah, our peers, I think, help shake the foundations every so often. So
It's true.
keeps it alive.
No.
What I find amazing myself is that, like, I lived in Ottawa since '96, and since I met you guys, I've seen places that play this hard rock music that I go, I had no idea that they played hard. I thought you'd go in there and see a guy standing there with an acoustic guitar. I never even imagined, you know. So,
Are you able to name them? The place?
well, like Avant-Garde, for instance,
Avant-Garde, yeah.
downtown. That like I was just blown away when I went in there the first time. I'm like, who would have thought? Like, I mean, I would have hung out there all the time had I known what was going on there when I was like first living in Ottawa, especially. But if it was around then, that is. So that just one for an example.
Yeah, that's crazy because I was just talking to the band that runs a like Ottawa Punk Fest, and like they run it out of Avant-Garde, so that kind of like goes on that because like,
Oh,
and I was
interesting.
gonna mention that how like, you know, there's even the venues, like as much as you might hate or dislike a guy, for anyone listening to like a guy like Drake, you know what I mean, all the controversy and stuff. He's building that new place in Ottawa, like a new venue, and I mean, granted, I feel like it's gonna be more of a place for hip hop artists, but again, it's another venue for artists to play at, especially in the local scenes. So
Yeah,
it'd be a big help.
Time
True.
has changed over the years of, you know, perceptions, trends, and stuff like that. What a bar should be like. I was just thinking the other day, I was with my brother and I was going to a concert. We're walking down the street looking for something to eat. Now he's a little older than me, so you know, old school was kind of like, you know, the typical food that we grew up. But we live in this new era, and this new era is, you know, same street, right? Pizza, shawarma, Indian food. It's not where I growing up, but it's just giving you the indication of the melting pot that has become music over time.
Okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of clubs come and go,
Right.
even unfortunately in recent years as well, because of
It's true.
you know the
True.
state.
It's sad. Like it's
Yeah.
you see them closing down, and you have memories in these places, and
Right.
you've
Yeah.
been there. You've made friends,
Friends there and
you've made
everything,
friends
yeah.
with the staff, and then
Yeah,
and then
right.
they're gone.
Yeah.
That's
So-
one good thing when we took videos.
So get
So it's
out
like-
there and listen to live music and
Yeah.
keep these venues
Oh,
alive.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you spoke of Drake earlier. I mean, I don't really care for the music very much, but anybody who's going to buy his neighbor's house because his neighbor ticked him off, he's good in my book.
Yeah, right. That's actually cool.
I have those thoughts all the time.
Same.
yeah. But that's a valid point. The venues won't survive unless people go
People-
to see
Yeah.
a live music experience. And
You have to
you know,
go.
I've seen some artists where, you know, it's fine. They're a singer songwriter. They're acoustic. They're in a nice club, or you're seeing a rockin' act. You know, even like us or something playing a club. It's big enough and get, you know, the sound system and everything. But that's for me. My thing is the musicianship. Like to see you can always listen to the music anywhere, right? At this point, but to get the live experience and get, I just remember seeing, like as I said, Kiss. I've seen a number of bands. I remember one year I went to see Nine Inch Nails. I had never seen them before, and I was impressed. That was a really good presentation. It made it worth the money that I paid for that show, and that's how I look at it too. If you're going to step on the stage, like
Yeah.
you know, people paid money for that, so
Exactly.
it's fine. Whatever your shtick is that you're going to deliver to your audience is great. Just be really good at it, be very passionate about it, and you know, put some thought into it. I guess when you do that, when you give that delivery,
Put on
because
a good show.
if you're just, you know, people used to say, oh, you know, just staring at your shoes and stuff like that. It's not much of a delivery, and it's not much of an enticement for people to come to clubs. But if you're like, oh, that band, they're pretty crazy when they play live, you know,
Yeah.
that is an enticement. So there's it, you know, the onus is on the artist to bring that to the club.
Yeah.
And you know, I know the clubs all operate differently of how they work things with the artists and stuff like that. But essentially, that's what it's going to come down to. And
But
Yeah,
that
I
being
don't
said, even like I mean, some of the onus is on the entertainment to bring that energy to entice people to get out there to see it.
mm-hmm.
Some of the problem is that there isn't enough of that. But I mean, what can you do about that?
Well,
Everybody needs to get out to play.
That's but that's the other part of what I were talking about. We were talking
Exactly.
about like Drake or something like that. Where I assume younger people may not, or at least some, don't have the same.
Music taste?
Sorry.
You mean music taste? Or like-
Well, there's music taste
Music
playing
taste
into
as
it. That's
well,
true.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true,
You know,
actually.
if they see a video and they see the song and there's this presentation, or maybe there was a concert was filmed, a little bit of that. Well, that's enough for them. But, you know, for the musicians who put on these shows and sell tickets and go out and do all the promotion and everything, there's a lot of onus on us to not only do the performance, but it's very, you know, DIY or DIWO, right? To get this happening so that people come to the shows. And, you know, like, you
Yep.
do your best.
Get a bus. We got to go pick them up, dude.
Right? I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, especially with, I feel like, yeah, nowadays, especially with COVID, I find, or at least I hope that people come out now to, like, it's more of a, like, you've been stuck inside all this time. And I was talking with, like, another band about it, how it's like, after COVID, there was, like, a big jump, or even during COVID, it made people want to be more interested in the local music and, like, small bands, because finally stuff was happening around the place and stuff like that. So, yeah, I agree. Like, honestly, though, like, it's a much different experience going to, like, a much bigger show and, like, mainstream artists, and then you go to, like, a smaller show at, like, a Rainbow Bistro or, like, the 27 Club, where there's maybe not as much theatrics going on, but there's, like, at least most of the time I find, like, I'm going to say a good example, but, like, you know, people, especially in the Ottawa scene, are very passionate about what they do. Everyone's pretty chill and everyone knows each other, which makes it a very, like, unique scene, because there's a lot of scenes, especially in North America, where there really isn't that much going on, I would say. Like, maybe that's not completely true, but, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a few things going on, but it's not like that's the thing though. Like, Ottawa's got, like, so much going on, but again, there's just no attention to the city.
Yeah, and like I said, we're like a hard rock band, and you know, sometimes we look around and you see support for more mainstream artists, right? So it makes it even a harder push for us to get a word in, or you know, to get noticed or whatever it is, right? But yeah, I mean, there's other factors also going on as well. Like, you know, since the pandemic, you know, we've had financial impacts around the world with us, and you know, as most recently from our southern neighbors, where you know, we're looking right now. I hope the trend, my opinion, would be that we look a little more inwards, and that includes our own artists. for me personally, I mean, I didn't care. I like music from where I don't care where you come from. If I like the music, I like the music, right? But from what you're saying, you know, like the indie thing and that, I'd hope that would help.
Like give the bands here more of a chance.
Yeah.
Like give them a listen, give them a shot to gain your attention. And chances are you might like the music. Like there's a lot of different music here in Ottawa, a lot of different like styles and genres that are here, a lot of different mixes of different genres that I like. Like shout out to TV Head's an interesting one for me. He just started, I think he's from another band called Backseat Dragon. They're more of like a mellow indie rock, and he's created this sort of like, I don't even know what you'd call it. Like it's a lot of reverb, kind of a lot of shoegaze vibes from it. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd have to listen to it again because he just released a new album, so I kind of have to give that a listen. And but yeah, what you were saying.
Yeah. But with what you was just saying, like through COVID, from that time, there's been a lot of music written and released. People were just in that, you know, you're in your house, you're stuck there anyway. You got to do something. So I found a huge wave of new music that come out. So you can also get buried in that too. Like you know, like you're trying to stand out, but you can kind of get buried in that. With the amount of music that comes out.
I would agree with that because I even find it, you're gonna laugh, but I've been finding every week I, you know, subscribe to like emails from like the movie theaters, and it's like there's about 2 or 3 movies almost every week that come out. Like I want to go and see that, but you can't take in everything.
No.
You know? So, but yeah, and
it's not that it's a terrible bad thing. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
I want to go back on what you said about like the whole performance thing and being able to, like, again, not only just like be able to play the music in front of people, but also be able to put on a show that people can enjoy, like be able to get people interested in your show. And I wanted to go to one show I went to. It was, I got to check what they're called now because now I'm thinking of it.
He's got a memory like me.
Do the Jeopardy music. Da, da, da.
Oh my God, what are they called? I mean, like, my friends listen to them. No, I was more there to see the headlining band, which is, they're called Movements.
Movements, okay.
And also the opening band was really good. What are they called? Queen of Jeans. This band is
I don't think I've
called
heard of them.
Turnover, yeah. So basically, the band Turnover came over, and they're like a lot of people that were there to see them because as soon as they got off, a decent chunk of people left. And but I've never seen someone look like the lead singer. I've never seen someone look so disinterested. He didn't do anything on the stage. He just kind of sang the songs and just got off like immediately. So you know. That was fun. Thank you for that.
I've actually been in that situation myself where I went to see I can say Faster Pussycat at one time, which was a band I liked when I was younger. I was like, yeah, I got to go check this out. And the guy, the lead singer, basically walked to the mic. He said a few words, and then he sat back having his smoke, and then he walked to and that's all he did the whole show. I'm going, well, what did I pay $25 to see this for, right? Yeah, it said $25. I guess I dated myself again, eh?
Yeah, that's all right.
Dig up those dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, goodness,
In the
man.
late 80s, early 90s? Something like
Early 90s, yeah. I would say early to mid, yeah.
I wish ticket prices were that good. Now I'm paying like $200 or almost $300 to see MCR.
I know. I went to see King Diamond in Montreal. It was like I was blown away. I was, oh my goodness, this is what music's all about. The theatrics. That's like you know. I would actually love to take the time, and it's something I'm going to approach with Jarrett one of these days. Is that I'd love to take the time to actually create a stage show, and actually put on a real theatrical show, the way it's supposed to look, right? And it's a lot of work and probably a lot of money, but I mean, it's something that I've always wanted to try to do. Like, it doesn't have to be huge and like massive, like Kiss or King Diamond, for instance. But I mean, and no, not a 18-inch Stonehenge coming down. No, we ain't gonna play Stonehenge. I edit it myself.
Yeah, but we've, and that's probably, that's along the lines of how we thought when this band started anyways, where we grew up on all of the music that came before, and we wanted to, be more current, because we had seen contemporaries around replicating what was already done. And it's like, that's been done to death. We don't want to do that. We want to move forward. And anybody who listens to our catalog will probably recognize the time periods and stuff based on the style we were playing at the time and all that. We found our niche when we went to playing in drop C. So from a musical perspective, it was just, for me, I found my voice really, I think, with that key. So that's why we've stayed in that. But from the performance perspective, we always had that thought from day one. Former band members we had, like that was the thing, right? Like we dress up and, we would, give an energetic performance. And sometimes, we'd have different things for the show. We had crows, we've got banners, we got, this is what I'm talking about, right? It's adding to the experience. It's not just a dry set, and it doesn't mean that a band who brings just their energy and there's a dry set doesn't mean it's not going to be entertaining. It just means from our angle, that's something that we sort of aspire to, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, dress up for the gig. Don't just, like, I'm not going to just wear a pair of jeans and a T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah, you wear something nice to the party when you go to the party,
dress
right?
a little bit, make yourself look presentable.
Yeah,
And
right. Exactly.
I mean, every band has their own way of like upping the theatrics. Like maybe it's props or the way they talk to the crowd or even what they dress. Like some bands like Ghost and Kiss, for instance, that's one of their main things. Yeah. So it's like that type of thing.
It's funny you mentioned Ghost because they were here in town. I think it was just the year before the pandemic, and I had heard of them before, but this is the first time they were coming to town, and I liked a couple of their songs, and I guess everybody was kind of busy. I just said, I don't want to go. I'll go to the show. So I went to the show by myself, standing there, and I was like, wow, this is a really good presentation.
Yeah, that's one of their big things is their whole presentation. Yeah, I would love to see Ghost. I'm not as into listening to them as much as I used to be, but I still would love to see them live. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what he would say to Tobias, I guess is the singer's name, about, people came to see a show. Give them a show, whatever that would be. Like, as I said, for, what the performer delivers as I said, a singer-songwriter or a metal band. Like, just, this is your thing. Really give that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to catch a, what do they call them guys there? Slipknot. I always wanted to catch a Slipknot show.
Yeah.
Just to see what that energy's like.
Oh, man.
I saw them.
It's
That must be
incredible. It's
insane.
so fun.
I feel like the drumming would
So
be the best
fun.
part of it. He's
Yeah.
a really good drummer. I've seen like some clips of him. It's crazy.
I saw them earlier in their career. That was, I'll say it. It was Ozfest
That was awesome.
show in Toronto.
Wow.
Tons of artists that everybody knows now was on that bill, and it was hot, but like those guys gave her.
The energy, I just couldn't believe
is
it. Like, I mean, they're going to go out for an hour and a half, and they're going to spend about a year of their life in that hour and a
that
half.
hour.
It just give it all they got, right?
Yeah.
I would actually like to try to do something like that at one point in my life. I don't have the energy anymore now, but I look back, I think I wish I had have done something that I could have used that much energy. I do give a lot of energy when I play, but it's limited to, I mean, I can only do so much. I love the one show we were playing in the one of the bands that played the opening for us, and the guy was like climbing on the
rafters and all
"Oh,
kinds
I
of
wanna
neat
do
things.
that."
And I was like, that'd be so fun to do that.
If I could wrap my leg around that and hang and play the guitar.
Right?
Yeah, and there's another band we played with a couple of years ago, and they're from Quebec. They dress up. They look like babes in Toyland, if you know
Yeah.
what that is. And
I'm not familiar.
They were
okay,
great.
well, there you go. There's some history
Brains with
research for you to
cakes,
do,
yeah.
but yeah, they is it on Brains with
Cake
Cakes?
with
Changed
cake,
my,
yeah.
Changed my
Yeah,
brains,
Brains
with
with
cakes
Cakes.
was the name.
That's what it was, yeah.
It was a
Change
pretty
my
cool
brain with
performance.
cakes.
I kind of enjoyed all the bands around.
Oh, yeah,
town,
yeah.
for that show.
I know, and I remember thinking like they were playing, and I was thinking, how am I going to get enough energy to top that?
Right?
Yeah.
We're going on right after them.
That's what all of us we're just kind of thinking, like, how are we gonna up this performance? Because like ours,
We did well though.
Oh, yeah,
we really,
yeah.
we really went out and gave it, right?
Yeah,
No,
but,
they
like,
dug
how
us
are,
too.
like how
Yeah,
are
but again,
you
this-
supposed to follow that kind of an act, though? Right?
Yeah.
Like these people are jumping all over the club. They're like on the wall at one point. I was like,
Yeah, the girl
how am I
faked
going
her
to do
death.
that from over here in the corner behind the drums? Like I can't just be like, oh, whatcha, like jump on the wall or something. You know, like that's craziness.
It's
That's amazing.
And different, like you say,
That's amazing.
different animal. So that they
Yeah.
brought what they bring, and they did it well.
I was just the last interview I had. We were just talking about something like that with the whole like just bouncing off the walls thing. There's like I don't know. I can't remember which drummer we were talking about, but it's like apparently he like does backflips and stuff during the.
Oh my!
Oh yeah.
I can't remember who they said it was, but that's crazy. Like, how's that even work? I guess like just jump on the seat, just backflip, and then sit back down.
I just always have the hope in the back of my mind that Jared knows CPR or something.
I did see a singer do backflips years ago and during their set, but for a drummer, that's a new level.
Definitely new. You know, you have the usual stuff like the Tommy Lee stick spinning and I guess the just regular flipping, but not really getting off the seat and doing anything. You know, what is like the most crazy like musician thing you've seen? Like even just like theatrical wise, like there's like that one time like Tommy Lee in a baseball stadium like was on the drum kit and it got like went upside down or something, like it got carried. I can't like which show it was, but that was like a big thing that Motley Crue fans
Didn't he do that
specifically
during
usually remember.
Kickstart My Heart or something?
Probably
Or it was part of the show where he got stuck or something. Is that what you're saying?
He might have gotten stuck, but like
That'd be awesome. You got stuck, like, guys, help me. No, dude, just keep playing.
I don't know. I think probably Aansen's 300 foot kicks per second probably impressed me.
Thank you.
You mean like just stuff that happened on stage, or
Yeah.
just
like is there
magic
like
moments? Or
yeah, I guess like a moment or like something that like a
Um,
musician did on stage that you remember that was like pretty.
Well, I actually do remember it was at like a 1990. No. It was a 2012 or a 2014 show. Joey Jordison in Slipknot. They actually hooked his kid up to a cage, and they just kept
turning
it,
around.
on odd angles.
Oh, that's
weird. And he ended up performing. I actually think it was a 3.5 or maybe 4.5 minute drums solo, right? And this whole cage thing's moving from this angle to that angle and going up and down and moving all over the place. And I just was in awe because I was like, it isn't that hard to technically perform that, but just the fact that it's oscillating all over the place. Like that's a challenge. That's actually really challenging, right? Because all of a sudden he's on his side and he comes back on his back and goes upside down a couple of times. I'm like, buddy's like 100% constant flow. And I was like, that's actually kind of impressive.
You know,
That's
staring
actually
at-
kind of neat, you know? Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you kind of have to fight gravity in that sense, pretty much.
Right?
Staring
yeah.
at Tom 1 like it's the only part of his life.
Right? Because otherwise there's puke coming out of the sides of the cage, I guess. He'd be vomiting all over the place. Get me down.
I actually saw like a Corey Hart concert one time, and there was like these side bins on both sides, but they were tapered up. So there'd be like a bass bin and then another set of bins, but it was staired. And he ran across the stage and he jumped off one of the monitors and kind of had one foot touch the bottom one and the next one up and the next one up. And he was on the top in like 3 steps. And I don't know how he managed to get up without killing himself.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it freaked me out. Now, that was a long time ago, friend. But I do remember it. Yeah, I was young enough at that time that my sister had to bring me to the concert. So, thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah. I don't know. We've been to so many concerts over the years, and my ears knows that I've been to so many concerts. So I don't know if there's a particular instance or a particular few instances that just like outweighs everybody else. I've just seen some amazing bands over the years. Like I was impressed with the Ghost show as the most recent. But over the years, like, as I said, Kiss, Metallica, Pink Floyd, like these guys, either the endurance that they had, and they're all different, right? But the endurance that some of these bands had, like the Metallica show was like 2.5 hours, and this was earlier in their career. And Pink Floyd, just the scope of the stage and the presentation, because they were in a band that were running around, but it was the lights, how everything synced well. So those are the shows that stand out for me where I really felt that I got my money's worth. I was entertained. I even saw Katy Perry in 2011, and that was a great show. It was fun.
Dude, really?
So,
Yeah.
She puts on a great show.
That's
yeah, she
actually
came
cool.
out, she had like,
That's cool.
everybody was dressed in like candy and ice cream and
Oh yeah.
and great choreography. Like I said, I like what I like, and if you come out and you're like, I'm going to give you a show, I'm like, you gave me a show. That
Especially with the price of tickets. I mean,
Well, yeah.
yeah, they're
that's-
even more
that's
than
true.
that now,
They
right?
got to bring something to the table to keep you paying them prices.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're Gene Simmons and you just get what you want.
Yeah.
Unless you're like
Man, I wish. Just saying. Just
yeah,
saying.
unless you're any early 2000s popular punk band, pretty much.
Yeah.
I saw Blink-182. Their tickets are crazy. Like, I have a friend who, when they released their new album, like a year or two ago at this point, he bought like almost every single edition of it,
Really?
Wow.
and that was a lot of money. I wonder how much it's going for now. Probably like the cassette was probably like $30. You can probably sell it for over $100 now.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, if he's buying it as
And he's not
An
going to sell it,
investment.
though. That's the problem. He's not going to sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't get, like, I collect vinyl and stuff like that, too. I don't really buy it to sell it. Like, it's just, I see the value of it. Like, when I go check, see how much it's worth, it's more of just like oh, that's cool,
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter because I'm not going to sell it. Maybe unless, like, I was, like, desperate for money, but, like, I hope it never comes to that point. But,
That's kind of the thing with music there today too. Like when we were kids, I mean, there was these physical formats, right? And you're talking about vinyl, right? So like that one early on was a nice big enough picture that it would catch somebody's eye, and then they would be intrigued, so they pick it up and look at it, and then when they bought it, like they had the artwork and everything inside. So it wasn't just a piece of music. There was this presentation that
yeah.
came with it, and it stayed with people because some of these pictures were or photo, whatever was on it, the design was like, oh, that's like old Supertramp records. You're looking at it going, what the, you know? But now you're at a point where it's like, well, like we just released our stuff digitally, like everybody else, right? So,
But I'm the kind of person that prefers a CD. If something comes out, like I want to hold on to it and look at it and touch it and feel it and open it. Like I like to rip the cellophane off. Or
Me
whatever.
too, actually. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a valid
You know,
point.
I do take my music and I put it on my player so I can just carry my little phone with me or whatever and listen to the stuff I like to listen to. But I have the CDs, so like when it comes to downloading, I have some friends who've released music digitally as well, and I don't have it because I'm like, it's kind of pointless to me. It doesn't give me the same satisfaction, the same feeling, the same as going to a concert and seeing somebody just stand there and stare at their shoes. It's the same kind of feeling. I mean, you know, I've paid money to get into the place. It's like I want to see something. I want to have a feeling. You know what I mean?
I have to ask you guys, what do you prefer, CDs or vinyl? This is a important question.
CDs.
Well,
Me.
well, I mean,
What do you guys prefer?
I think it depends on the stereo you have.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
if you play vinyl, but you play it on a good stereo, it sounds really good.
Amazing. But I don't, so that's
but
why
if-
I
But you know,
much
the
rather prefer
definitions in
CDs.
CD I find
Sorry.
are sound generally pretty good.
Oh yeah, I have all kinds of vinyl that I listen to, and it's an experience in itself. But like, you know, if I go into the root cellar to listen to some music, I might put on a vinyl and listen to it, which I do often enough and like that. But if I'm just kind of milling around, I'll probably just put on my MP3. Well, there's another dating myself. Put on my phone.
Don't worry, I have
and,
one too.
and just listen and just listen to the music. I mean, you know, it goes through the Bluetooth or whatever and magically goes all through my house because I have speakers everywhere. So, I mean, it depends on what I'm doing. If, like, you know, I'm not okay. When I want to relax and sit down and have a cup of coffee and listen to music, I'll probably put on a vinyl. Like I'll think of something, you know, I pick up something here and there if I'm out, like some of those flea markets are
I
great.
got vinyl for the records from the 70s,
Yeah.
and they really good, rich, warm sounds that I find that they had generally on records back then.
Yeah.
I like the
Times
little
changed, the
crackle.
quality's gotten better in different regards, but yeah.
I like that little crackle when you first put the needle on, and then it
It
starts.
fixes
Yeah.
itself up.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no feeling like that.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I'll talk to my dad and you and my friends about how it's like, you know, like when you're talking to like your parents, they'll be like, oh, CDs are so much better than vinyl, so much easier and stuff like that. And then, you know, people nowadays, like all the kids and stuff like that are all like, oh my God, vinyl is the best. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, CDs are great until they go,
Yeah, right.
you know, but it's like a record when it skips.
When it was
It's kind of annoying, like that little. If you take care of it, it's not going to do that as much.
Yeah.
Same with the CD, I guess. You know, but you're, I mean that CD, that weird thing. I'm glad I didn't do drugs when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, also while we're talking about parents, my dad said hi.
Hi,
Oh, that's very
well,
nice.
tell my
Hi.
back for
hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. How's it going, man? What? I'm being friendly. Calm down.
Oh yeah, we're friendly guys.
Oh, maybe you guys are. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm like extra friendly all the time.
He's so friendly, he won't shut up. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess we better speak for Zach. So if I was Zach, what would I say? Okay, I download all my music. I get it off of Napster's not a thing anymore, is it?
No,
What do they do now?
Probably off
people don't even really download.
Spotify, I guess. Right?
Oh, it's just a streaming now, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
YouTube. That's where I get my tunes.
Spotify's the main platform,
YouTube.
at least now.
But listen to Tidal first. And
Title?
you know why I say that?
Title?
Yeah. You know Tidal?
Is that a platform?
It is. It was started by, was it Jay-Z? Somebody was
Yes,
involved with
that's
that one.
true.
I thought it was
That's-
him.
I completely
So the
forgot
reason
about
I'm
that.
bringing that up is because for the artists out there, they will get more royalty returns from a single stream on Tidal than they will from Spotify. And we actually we promote that.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not your bag and you prefer Spotify, that's fine. But I wanted people to be aware of that as well. That they pay out more to artists than Spotify and some of the other ones. So if you really want to support artists, and okay, maybe you don't want to fill up your house with CDs, whatever. But like, if you're going to listen to music, give Tidal a shot because you're giving more of a shot to the artists.
Great. I've had conversations about that with artists about how just garbage, I guess, Spotify really is for artists. Like, other than, I guess, publicity and attention, it doesn't really do anything. And you have to pay money to get your songs on there as well.
Yep.
So that's why, you hear those stereotypes of SoundCloud rapper and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where it's just it's the free, easy way to get stuff on there. I'd say SoundCloud is one of the other more known ones, only because a ton of people put their stuff on there. It doesn't really get much attention, but it's a okay starter place to put it.
Yeah, it does feel like you're standing in front of the shelves at the grocery store, and you've got 12 or 15 different detergents. There's only really one that you're going to probably go with, maybe two, but it can be overwhelming for people.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of Tidal though. That's I feel like people should probably put more attention to that then, because that sounds like a good deal.
There's my plug for Tidal.
That's
You're welcome.
my first time hearing of it too. Where was I?
Yeah. So, yeah, we all have our methods of what we listen to and stuff like that. So,
I still even put on some cassettes from time to time. The only problem is now that it's kind of hard to find a good player that, the belt's usually worn, or there's always something. So you're going to listen to it and you're like, it doesn't quite sound in tune. What's going on here?
The only cassette player I bought is more of a collectible thing for a band I listen to. And, we get music that comes here into the station, and I won't lie, I kind of stole some of it, but it's like someone I interviewed, oh my God, he put in a cassette because I started to get his music in for the rotation to see if he got a chance to get in. And he brought in a physical piece of music and it was a cassette. I'm like, he made cassettes? Sweet, I'll steal that.
nice.
But I mean, but also while we're on the topic of music, I think we should probably talk a bit about Scarecrowz, maybe a little bit, and your new release, On and On. Okay. And, especially with you guys letting people know that you guys have an album coming out in the soon future. Maybe talk about the first release of that is going to be on the album, I'm guessing, right?
On and On will be on the new album.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every song, people write, it has message or something to say. That song in itself, it's Reno did the music for that one. I did the lyrics, and the message for the song is just, this band's been going on for a long time, but we're still at it, and it's because this is we come together, and this is what we love to do, and life throws challenges in your way, but you still move forward. And I think that's the underlying current about the song. Just on and on. And so that's what that song is.
Yeah, and besides the fact that, selling millions of albums and living the dream, as they call it, is one thing, but just making music and moving on and on is is satisfying in itself. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, we have to work a day job. Yeah, okay, we have responsibilities that we have to take care of outside of music. But, you know, when you love doing something so much that, like, you just don't want to stop doing it. Like, even through the pain and the agony, you still continue on making music and trying to get some shows. And as long as somebody will come out and listen, we'll play.
That's all that matters.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah, exactly.
I had somebody years ago, friend of mine, ex-friend of mine now. I was asking them about something, and they just said stop, and I was like, "What do you mean stop?" And like, stop what you're doing, kind of thing, and focus on something else. Is like, I don't know, like my family or something like that. I guess it was, and I was like, well, why I do this is not to, be, and if it would happen that I would be like, let's say Scarecrowz is next Metallica, great. But if it doesn't happen, that should not stop me from doing what I do. I'm an artist. This is what I do. I create, and kind of have a nice balance right now with our lives where we're not the guys who are going off on tour all this time and leaving wives and family at home we never see, and so we have that, and we can still play live, and we can still write, and we can still record
and everything. Yeah.
So,
it's nice.
we won.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
we didn't have to, and granted, like again, that opportunity. I can get into that and tons of stories about that the band from before, but essentially that's how I see it.
And with the new album Husk coming out later on, hopefully next month or in the next month or so, I mean, there's a lot of good material on there. There's a lot of ear candy that people are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
hopefully enough people will take notice and have a good listen.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. Like we worked on it, and just hoping people will enjoy it when it comes out.
Right.
I'm enjoying hearing back the response from where it's being mixed and mastered. Like some of the stuff that's coming back, I put it in my headphones. Go, oh yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I like the way this happened.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because like I've heard the raw stuff. Now hearing the polished stuff, it's kind of that sounds good. Huh?
Right.
Yeah, and still we've been working on this for a while too. So just to have it come out, it's kind of like it's a release. So
It's nice. It's actually very nice.
It feels good to finally get that release out and get the music
yeah.
out.
100%.
And the work is finally over, at least for the next little bit.
yeah.
Well, I got to learn the parts, so
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know how much work is over, but
You've a lot of
Well, at least you had a heads up on the bass
effort,
first.
yeah.
I got most of the songs kind of with the bass part, so at least I know the notes
Yeah.
or some of them.
It's true. You go away.
And we were talking a bit earlier. I want to go back to when we were talking a bit about like the lyricism of the songs and stuff like that, especially with your new song On and On being about like the band's like almost journey in a sense of like being, a thing for so long. What would you say is more important when it comes to making music? That's like the music or more the lyricism?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say that you always try to achieve something that has equality, right? So that lyrics can help to carry the message, and at the same time, the music helps to emphasize that aspect.
Yeah, I kind of agree
Right?
on that
Right?
one for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
right?
interesting. We come up with analogies for things to explain. The only thing is because you were just talking, I was trying to think for myself what I would say, and I'm like, if music, as you know, what we listen to and everything is like the body of a human or whatever, then the face would be like the lyrics. It's just, it's music kind of has the whole picture, but it's not quite the whole picture without those lyrics and the vocals and stuff. And I think that's probably why a lot of bands or people identify with bands based on the singer, because, you know,
It's
the
what you
voice,
hear.
or maybe the tonality of the drums or the
I
guitar.
always
something.
kind of looked at it like the vocals were more just filler waiting for the guitar solos.
You can see why we asked them to come back, eh?
No,
Yeah,
I-
some humility there.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Like, I mean, like when I first started writing music was all about the instruments, because I'm not a lyricist. It was all about, like, you know, putting together the drums, the bass, and the guitars, and some keyboards or whatever you were going to put into the song, and mix the soup, and just kind of get a feel of what I like to hear, how I like to feel it, and then. Well, my wife's a lyricist as well, so she started writing some lyrics to some of the stuff I was doing. So, I mean, it was working out pretty good. So that's kind of my original start, was more or less just the music, how that all goes together.
Well, yeah, I know for some like people, especially like the genre of music you're making, sometimes it's more important for certain things, like especially for metal music, like depending on what metal music, you know what I mean? like hardcore, you know, there's a lot more screaming, so maybe there isn't as much emphasis on the lyrics and more on like the guitar and like the drums especially.
The beat, the, like, you know, the rhythm,
Yeah.
the flow, the feel of
Right.
the song, yeah. If it makes you move,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Like Scarecrowz is very dominant with lyrics, is a very dominant part of it. So it's it's a very important piece of the puzzle when like with Scarecrowz, like for instance. But I have heard other bands where you didn't even have to have a singer, because you either couldn't hear him, you couldn't make out what he was saying or her, what they were saying, and it didn't really make any difference anyway. So you better have a good drummer, a good bass player, a good rhythm guitar player to make that
build it
interesting
up,
enough
yeah.
to listen to.
Yeah.
Each to his own. I mean, if it's not my style, and you know, there's other people out there that are going to like it, obviously, because they're making it. But yeah, that's one thing I do like about Scarecrowz as a whole, is that, like, you know, it is lyrical. Like, you know, that's an important part of it. Like the message of the songs is something that's very important.
Yeah, and this goes back to there's no way to, like, one way to write. There's no one way to write your experience on something. Like, you can write a song on something that happened, and then, you know, years later it comes back to you and you have more insight, and you maybe you write a new song based on what that original experience was.
Yeah.
And you have a different angle on it now because you've matured, you've grown older and stuff.
You got over it. So you got on
get
with
over it.
and you got on with
with
it.
it.
Segue there.
So you get on with it.
Yeah. So we keep writing.
How would you say most of, when it comes to the writing in most of your music up to this point, would you say it's more of like drawn from personal experiences, or more just like maybe just like different topics?
I think it's different topics. We've like, what have I, like, and for me personally, what have I not written about is more the question. Because yes, personal experiences. I had mentioned it was a history buff, right? So we have a song actually on the new record. It's called "The Scythe," and it's more based on like I wrote a song years ago called Crusader, based on like the Christian point of view as a crusader in the Crusades. And this one, it's more the other side, the Muslims in
Cool.
the song. So when I was saying before about a story that you have or an experience, and then later you have another one that might be reflecting on the other one. So it's kind of like that one. And it was not, I didn't purposely write that, but that was just what kind of came out. Yeah, we've written about contemporary stuff. You probably hear something on the next record about what's been going on.
Yeah, there's experiences, there's observations, there's there's all kinds of just different stuff. Like me not being a lyricist, I mean, I've written lyrics before, but listen back later and go, oh, geez, I wouldn't listen to this. but I mean, who's their own worst critic, right? But like Jerry writes a lot of different topics, different stuff. So.
Yeah, Zach is here now. Finally got Zach in the building. He's here and he's able to answer questions to the rest of the band. And we'll go back. I like to do a bit of an icebreaker just so that the people who are listening get to know the members a bit. And it's just your name, instrument you play in the band, and first question: what song would best basically just describe your life? It's like the simple way of putting it.
Oh, geez. Well, my name is Zach. I'm the bassist. And that's a really good question. Something about being a mess. I don't know. Explain why I'm late today.
Oh, no problem, man. As long as you're here, that's what matters most. As long as you're able to get here.
Glad to hear it. Thank you. Thank you for that reassurance there. Oh.
Was there anything in particular that inspired you to get into music making?
Rock Band for the PlayStation 2.
Sweet.
Yeah, probably that. Which leads me into song to describe my life. I don't know. Paranoid, Black Sabbath.
Nice.
That was the first time I ever recall hearing and playing air quotes here, playing a piece of music that where I thought, oh, okay, hold on, this is good. Music can be like this, and I think it just kind of went from there, really.
All right, and next question. That's all my individual questions, so we can get back to.
Wonderful.
You got off easy, dude.
Oh, that's tough. You go, man.
When I put my hand up and I go, I forgot what I wanted to say.
Okay, well, all right. So next question. I want to go back because we were talking a bit about different performances and stuff, but I think we should talk a bit about you guys. But you guys have been around for a while, so you've had many shows up to this point. Is there any moment in particular that you remember from one of your shows that was like something that maybe you'll never forget, something wild that happened or something like that?
There's been so many incidents.
Yeah, actually.
I mean,
well, there is this one instance happened actually last year at a Cafe de Cuff. It was the second time that the Scarecrowz technically performed on live, and the guitar solo that comes through the middle of the song, I have no idea how, but Reno and I were perfectly syncopated, like at the same time, note for note, almost. And the crowd picked up on it, and every single thing was a woo and a wah and a yeah. And I was like, I feel good about myself tonight. This is actually, if we are doing a really good show, all right. I was actually very happy about that. I was like, Reno, that was awesome. He's like, I know, that was totally badass. That was perfect. Like the drums just happened at the same time. Like, it was great, man. It's like, yeah.
Well, I think
awesome.
for myself, like I mean, it's kind of corny, but I mean, I just remember the very first gig I ever did when I walked out and I was like shaking and had all the nerves. And I didn't have a throw up bucket, and so anyway, but I think just going out and realizing that I wanted to do this, I think was probably one of the most memorable parts. But as for crazy things that had happened, I mean, oh man, I mean, I remember some nights when we were drunk enough not even to be playing and still be standing there. I mean, you know, just stupid stuff. Stuff I won't even say. I know somebody's waiting for me in a very hot place for this.
Well, I mean, I'm the newest member, so I haven't had tons of experience, but, well, playing live with the guys, rather. But I think the first time I played with you guys was last June, and when we got to Reborn, we were cooking. We were playing so fast, so frantic, but together at the same time. It wasn't out of control or anything. And I just remember that being the moment where I felt, okay, yeah, I feel like I belong on this stage. And that was really something there. Hadn't really had that before.
That's a good moment.
That's actually a very good moment.
Thank you.
That's heartfelt. Thanks, Zach. That's
That's
actually
what I
very
waited
nice.
Well, I mean, I've been here longer than everybody else, so I've had many moments like those, experiences over the years. But yeah, in recent memory, some of the shows, I think, you know, maybe the Cornwall one was a lot of fun.
That was awesome.
That was
You got wet.
yeah. You know, there's moments, flashes of moments over the years that are a lot of fun and stuff.
It's hard to really pick one, isn't it? I mean,
It is
there's
hard to
so
pick
much
one.
stuff
I mean,
has
God,
happened.
there's hundreds
Like,
and hundreds and hundreds.
So I've been with the band since the beginning, so I've done like over 100 shows, just with this band. I'm not naming some of the other acts and stuff that I've done over the years. So yeah, there's been moments with just every show, every lineup or something, right? But yeah, the Cornwall one was fun. Even the Cafe de Cuff one was fun because I remember.
Oh yeah.
Did I copy you? You jumped into the audience.
Oh yes.
And you were playing around. At one point, I don't know, because we did 2 shows at Cafe de Cuff,
That's
right?
right. Yeah. Right.
I forget
Yeah.
which one it was now, but one of them I had a headache.
Yeah.
And it
that's
started like just almost, I started the first song, and that's it. You just kind of had to barrel through with it. But it was like that point, the adrenaline's going so much.
Right. Yeah.
And at one point, I jumped onto the floor, just ran around with my wireless.
That's right. I saw that.
And I was
from,
like,
behind the
yeah,
drums. I was
let's do
like,
this.
that's awesome. Look at him all the way across the stage. Oh, look at him. He's in the corner. And I'm playing a song. I was like, that's so cool. He's
Well,
like
my
25 feet away. That's so neat.
My first thought was I was going to go into the mosh pit with them, and then they all just kind of backed away. I'm like, I'm not plastic. I'm not going to break.
Yeah.
That's fun, though.
We played a house party last fall. It was fun.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a crazy house. Nice place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's huge place.
Big place. Yeah.
Huge house.
Oh, that's what I mean. There's just every show, there's always something that you remember, you know, and so that just adds to the whole collective of appreciating what you do and you know, the people that come to the shows and all those things.
Playing live is a great feeling, and it's especially a great feeling when you're playing with people who you enjoy playing with.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is the best moment when you're on a stage with people that you enjoy playing with, that you enjoy working with, that you realize this is a great moment.
Yeah. Synchronicity of it all.
Yeah.
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 Right? 100%. 100%. Man.
Do you guys have any shows scheduled up soon that you would like to let the people listening know about?
That's a good question, Jerry.
Hey, boss.
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, we've been busy with a few things. There's always some admin stuff you got to take care of. But yeah, we are looking into doing some shows, obviously, to promote the album when it comes out. We are looking into some things right now, so we don't have anything confirmed. Who knows? Maybe you can have us back at some point. We'll have a show to talk about in the album because it'll be out.
Yeah, I mean, I do have the live shows, so just let me know when soon the album's going to come out, and you guys can come on the live show, talk about the album a little bit, showcase some of the songs as an early release if you want to, or they can already be released if you want it to be out already before you go on air to talk about them and showcase them. But yeah, we can schedule that for whenever, like after this, if you guys kind of have a main idea when you think it's going to come out, we can schedule for a date. I don't have, if you're thinking it's going to come out in June, then I don't have any dates scheduled in June, so we can definitely easily schedule a date for the live interview.
Okay.
That would be great.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. You have to call him. Arrange it.
I don't think anybody calls anymore.
I'm pretty
You're
sure.
starting to sound like me, like
Well,
talking to an MP3 player.
well,
Email.
email. I like the email.
I was texting one of the bands I was trying to get an interview with, and I accidentally like screen recorded him. Then he picked it up instantly. I was like, "Oh, all right." So then we just talked. I like got out of I was like right out of the shower too. So I was just like, it was just so like it was awkward for a second. There was like, "Hello."
I always have a panic attack when you push the call button, but you push the video thing, and it's like, no, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Now
way.
she's gonna think I'm a freak.
Okay. Well, I do have one more question I have ready for you guys before we can end this interview. But it's, you guys have been around for a long time, and there are a lot of younger bands in the scene, especially as someone who looks a bit deeper than maybe some other people will. You find some bands that are like in high school still, bands that are still in their teens, bands that are just starting out, like just released their first song or whatnot. And for a band that's been around for so long, that's had their successes, and stuff like that, is there anything you'd want to say that is almost an encouragement or something like a tip or something like that that could be useful to a band just starting out, especially in a scene like Ottawa?
Continue on and on. Never give up. Don't treat it like a job.
Yes, that's
And
very
be
good.
kind to everyone.
You have to treat everyone equally. Even if they aggravate you, you have to treat everyone equally. So
I'm
that
nice to Aansen.
You have an absolutely awesome repertoire with everybody, because that's how you get gigs. Because remember, everybody knows everybody, including the owners of all the clubs.
Especially in a small
right?
town like Ottawa.
Oh, yeah, and especially in this old hunka excellent in Ottawa. Yeah.
Yeah. Just,
Yes.
Again, like this is all my personal experience that got me here today is my drive, and then we've all faced obstacles in life, and don't let those obstacles stop you from what you really would like to do, and you're passionate about it. If anything, use those obstacles as those experiences to write about. If you're a writer, if you're not, well, you can still get your emotions out in what you do, and again with those experiences. So, yeah.
No.
Anyone else have anything else to say? Zach, do you have any? Because
You got
you've been
advice
around
for the kids, kid?
Because Zach, you've been around for so long, you know what I mean? And do you have anything from all your experiences to let these kids know?
Yeah, I guess it would just, if I had to say something, it would be, you never know what's coming next, so just accept it and move through it, I guess, really. You never know what opportunities, what good things, what bad things are coming, so just roll with it, I guess. that's kind of how I treat pretty much every day.
Awesome. Well, since we're at the end of this interview now, is there anyone you would like to shout out, anyone else involved in the music making process that maybe either wasn't mentioned today or isn't here now?
Well,
Reno,
Reno, right?
not
Yeah.
here, as I mentioned,
Right.
you know, he's stepping out of the side for now. So shout out to Reno. Hey, Reno.
Reno, the man.
We love you, Reno.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I was just going to mention the video there. So Kyle, who helped us make the video for the lyric video that we did for
Oh,
for the
yes,
song.
that's
So I
true,
just want to
that's
shout
true.
out to him
Thank you,
and
Kyle.
Rachel for doing the
Rachel.
artwork for the single.
Nice.
It's true.
So there'll be more to come later with maybe some of those people, but for the moment, yeah. Oh, and our fans,
Yes, all
our
of
friends
our
and
fans,
family,
so
thank
much.
you for the support.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids want to get smarter. Listen to Scarecrowz.
Kids want to get smarter. Listen to Scarecrowz. You go, huh.
Well, thank you guys. You know, I just want to say again, if I didn't say it already, thank you guys for coming down to CKDJ to come in and talk on the podcast. You know, this is your first time doing a podcast. You guys were great. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Nice to meet
so
you.
much. Yeah.
Thank you for
Pleasure.
Zach for making your way down.
Of course. I did everything I could. Drove like hell.
Caused a few crashes on the way here, but you know, as
Maybe
long as
you
you're
did.
able to
Maybe
get
you
here.
did. Maybe you
Almost.
I don't want to legally admit anything.
But thank you all for listening and or watching to Music on the Underground. I come out with podcast episodes every Wednesday, so make sure to stay tuned for more. And once again, thank you to Scarecrowz for coming into the studio. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much.